I've lived in Delhi all my life actually. I've lived here, I was born here. I think what's peculiar about Delhi is nearly 900 hectares of open green space. I can't think of any other capital city in the world that has a resource as rich as this. And I started exploring the trees only around 1998. And I spent 6 years, 7 years exploring the trees and writing about them. When the British were planting up Lutyens, Delhi, they chose, oddly enough, only 13 species of trees for about 40 avenues. And I was curious to know about why they planted, why they selected what they selected. The trees in Lutyens, Delhi are a curious mix. There are some good trees, there are some strange trees, there are some adventurous trees, so it's all quite interesting. And now those 13 species have expanded to something like 20 species. One of the great sights in Delhi is to look at the flying foxes that you see up in the Arjun trees on Janpat. There's a particular stretch of Janpat where there's probably about 100,000 fruit bats that roost there in the daytime. We're walking on the central ridge. We've entered from Chanakyapuri on Sardar Patel Marg. It's not a part of the ridge that a lot of people come to, partly because there are not a lot of paths in there, although there's one road that comes in and goes to the Earth Station. What's lovely though about the ridge is that it's like a huge area that's held in reserve to make a future forest, possibly the largest forest that any capital city in the world will have. It's got interesting vegetation, quite a lot of Vilaiti kikar, which dominates everything else, but also some native vegetation. And I love it because it's got wonderful moods as it changes with the different seasons. We're standing in a very interesting part of central Delhi. It's surprisingly large and untenanted. And it was left out of the planning scheme by the British when they were creating the imperial capital in 1911. And they called it an amenity park. And what the British meant by an amenity park was a place to ride in. So they would actually bring their horses here. Or they imagined a time when they would bring their horses here and this would become a great big riding place. There's a patch where the Vilaiti kikar stops for some reason. And where it stops, you suddenly start seeing 8 or 9 species of native trees like the Amaltas, like the Bistendu, like the Kanju. So I regard this forest now as being a great potential place to have a natural dry deciduous forest. We'd have to remove all of the Vilaiti kikar. One of the most interesting things here is an evergreen species of bush that's called heath. The local name is heath. Everywhere you look, wherever all of these plants here, for example, this is all heath. And what heath does is it creates visual barriers at the ground level. So you can't look through the forest. If heath was not there, this would be a transparent forest, especially in the dry season. In a place like this, you do have jackals. You have a population of jackals that has probably always been here. We have some reptiles and snakes. We have lovely monitor lizards. This is a degraded forest and the wildlife is also degraded. We've lost our foxes from here. We should have had chinkara here, they're gone. So it's now, a beleaguered place for wildlife. But some things still cling on and it's wonderful.